Welcome to All Things Retreat podcast. I'm Holly Porter, your host and CEO of Retreat R&R. With over 25 years of experience in designing transformative retreats, I'm here to share insights and inspiration to help you create extraordinary experiences. Whether you're a pro or just starting out, you'll find valuable ideas here. Enjoy the ride. Let's dive in. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the show today. We are going to be having some fun again with Brenda Winkle. She's an energetic leadership guide, intuitive channel, and somatic mentor who helps visionary leaders, founders, and professionals reclaim their energy, trust their intuition, and lead with clarity and ease. Blending decades of leadership experience with intuitive insight, energy healing, and trauma-informed somatic work, Brenda guides high capacity leaders through transitions that require more than mindset. Her grounded yet expansive approach helps them lead from presence, not pressure. Known for her calm authority and psychic precision, Brenda creates high-frequency spaces for deep transformation. Whether speaking on stage, guiding breath work, conducting a choir, or mentoring clients one-on-one. Welcome to the show, Brenda.
Hi, Holly. Thank you for having me.
You bet. Well, I have prepared a few questions for you to just talk about retreats today because we are All Things Retreat podcast. And I know that you have done them in the past. Tell us a little bit more about that.
I love hosting retreats because there's something magical that happens when you take yourself out of the day-to-day minutia and you allow yourself to integrate and immerse into whatever kind of retreat, whether it's a retreat for business or a retreat for wellness, or maybe just a retreat to travel and experience the world. There's something so special about it. And I love the chance for one-on-one or in-person connection. And so that's kind of the thing that made me so excited about hosting retreats is that connection.
Right. Well, okay. So tell us a little bit about your clients. Like, who are they?
My clients are leaders, intuitives, creatives, entrepreneurs, educators. They most typically are highly emotionally intelligent. They may identify as an empath, somebody who feels everything from everyone all the time. And for many of us, we didn't know that not everybody could do that. And so a lot of the things that we work through in various retreats are around creating that energetic sovereignty so that we can maintain the deep compassion and empathy that makes this type of leader really special without burnout.
Yeah. I always find it really interesting when you say they don't know they have those gifts. I find it interesting that how many years it takes some of us to figure that out on our own.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Well, I think, we all view the world from our own unique lens. Yeah. And so it's very easy for us to think, oh, everyone does it because I do it, or everyone feels this way because I feel this way. And so a lot of times it can be jarring for us when we realize not everyone shares this gift. It might feel like, why aren't they reciprocating? Why don't they ever anticipate my needs? When is it going to be my turn? Or it might feel like, I can't believe you don't know I'm anxious about getting ready to step on stage right now. Why do you want to have this conversation? And so a lot of times it's something really jarring for us that makes us realize, oh, it's because they don't know what I'm feeling. They can't feel my feelings.
Yeah, well, an empath pick up on everybody's energy. So learning how to protect that for yourself is key. I know years ago, I always could see auras, but I didn't see color. A few times I have, but it's not my norm. And my husband could, and he didn't even know that that wasn't unusual. Number one, to see people's auras, and then he sees a couple colors, and I'm like jealous of that. I was like, wow. But we were married probably 15 years before we discovered both of us had that gift. So yeah, very, very interesting. I love it. Okay, so what was the first thing that you do in planning a retreat that's a non-negotiable for you?
My non-negotiable first thing to plan is I set the energy for the retreat, meaning why are we gathering? What is the transformation? What is the feeling that the attendees are going to leave having felt or having worked through or having experienced? And when I set that as step one, non-negotiable, then everything else falls into place. If I try and design it the other way, like, let me get the venue, let me get the food, let me get the other things, and then I sort of create the transformation as an afterthought, it just does not work.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like you have to have that end result and work backwards from there for sure, because it'll all come together that way. How do retreats connect you to your larger purpose or mission in life?
So I feel like my larger mission in life is exactly what I'm doing, which is I am finding a way to guide empaths, intuitives, creatives, leaders to their own empowerment. Because if we look around, the world is dark and scary right now, and we need this type of leadership more than ever. And so my role is to support these empathic, compassionate, highly emotionally intelligent people in creating their missions, because that's how we're going to change the world, one leader at a time.
Yeah, 100%. So do you as well attend retreats?
Absolutely. I feel like for myself, I would be out of integrity if I asked people to do something I was not willing to do myself.
Yeah. You got to invest in yourself, and that's part of it. I
100%.
agree with you. And I think people that don't do that, maybe this is a judgment, and I don't mean it that way. Just there's some kind of out of alignment piece going on.
I agree. And I don't think it's judgment. I think it's discernment.
Yeah.
I would think long and hard about working with anyone who is not doing their own work.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And then maybe they're not in a position. I mean, there's young mothers that have kids that can't just leave, and they work all year to do their own retreats and prepare for those. But are you doing personal development on your own? Are you doing other things that are helping develop your skills so that you can be at your best for your retreat? So there's other ways you can do that without attending.
That's right. And I agree with you, Holly. There's more than one way to get support. It doesn't mean it has to be paid. It might be that you mastermind with local members of your community. It might mean that you form a group of your own where you're growing together and supporting each other. It might mean that you listen to podcasts like this one. There's a lot of ways that you can do it that don't require you to financially invest if that's not if that's not a possibility.
Yeah, we definitely want to bring guests on our show that are going to help retreat leaders move their businesses forward. That's the whole idea of doing that. And I love that idea. And the other thing that I was thinking when you were saying that was find maybe somebody that you've cultured a relationship with and maybe do a retreat swap. And maybe you attend theirs and they attend yours. And somehow, it's not financial. One way or another, you're paying for it, right? But I think a swap would be kind of fun to do something like that with someone as well.
Yeah, that's definitely something to consider. The thing I would say is make sure it's energetically clean. Make sure that there's no crunchiness around the investment level of one venue versus the other venue. Find a way to make sure that everything is transparent so that there's no kink in the energy and there's no conversation under the conversation that hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
Because if that happens, it could actually destroy the relationship and you may not get the transformation you want out of the retreat. So
that's true.
Having the courage to have a really clear conversation first would be important, but that's a great idea.
And put it in writing. I mean, that's,
yes.
I mean, I'm a real estate broker, so it's like everything needs to be in writing. I want to just go back to the old handshake deals where we just agreed on things and everybody stuck to their word. But unfortunately, the world hasn't always reciprocated that way. So yeah, that's a great point. Okay.
Well, and I think to your point about the contracts, it's also clarity.
Yeah.
There's something really powerful about just laying it out in a really clear way.
And then last tip on that, and then read the contract. Just
right, exactly.
Know what you're signing, right? Yeah. Okay. All right. Enough on that. How do you see the future of retreat industry evolving in the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, I've seen it change a lot just in the last 5 or 6 years. We've gone from retreats being 4 hours, which that was considered a retreat, and it still is. Let's be clear. There are 4-hour retreats, half-day retreats.
Half-day retreat.
Yeah. And I think that those are valuable. And now we're seeing a little bit of a change in a 1 to 2 to 3, even 5-day retreat. Mm-hmm. And one of the big shifts that I'm noticing in my clients right now is that there was a move a few years ago to house everyone at your retreat. You would create a venue and everyone would come and stay at the venue. And I noticed that it was more difficult for me to sell those kinds of retreats in 2023. Mm-hmm. And so I started asking questions, and you and I had talked about this before we logged on. I lost my dad in 2024, which kind of slowed down my retreat hosting. So I only hosted one in 2024, and then I didn't host it all in 2025 until like last month. And then I have one set up for 2026. But it's given me this time and space to ask a lot of questions. And what I realized is people need more spaciousness because we're so busy that we don't have time and space to be by ourselves. We don't have time and space to be alone with our thoughts. And so the idea of a retreat being filled with content is not appealing. And the idea of being around people 24/7 is not appealing. And that was really surprising to me because I had tried to hold, space and fill the time and do all the things. And that's really not what people need right now. They need someone to facilitate silence and a pause.
Yeah, it's true. Well, you want a couple statistics?
Yeah.
I know if you've been listening to this show in the past on other ones, I've said it before, but I'm going to say it again because there's always new people. So the retreat industry was a $180 billion industry in 2022, and in 10 years, so 2032, it's expected to be $364 billion, which is a
Ooh.
I think 2% increase. That's huge.
I love that number, Holly. That makes me feel so excited.
But it's not going away. I mean, if COVID taught us anything, it taught us that connection is more important than ever. Community is more important than ever.
I agree.
Great way to facilitate that. So if every person on earth could attend one retreat, what do you hope their experience would remember?
Well, this is maybe not the answer you're looking for, but I hope that the retreat that someone attends is the thing that they know their soul needs, whether it's connection or rest or inspiration or information. I hope that everyone attends the retreat that they need. And so my sincerest desire would be that they listen to that inner nudge of what is it that I need right now? Do I need information? Do I need transformation? Do I need rest? Do I need pause? Do I need excitement? Do I need adventure? And then find that retreat.
Right. And because a lot of people go because they have a girlfriend going or a group of girls. That's a girls' trip. To me, that's not as much. It's a retreat in a different way. But if you want transformation, look for those offering that. Because there's yoga retreats, there's spiritual retreats, there's men and women's. I mean, there's just so many different kinds you can go to. When you go international, you're going to look at going more like 5 to 7 days, a little bit more time because of the flights over there. Little more relaxation can be involved in that because of that reason. But there's so many choices of where. I mean, so many retreats are screaming at us if you're looking for them. And when people I see looking, I can't find a retreat, and I'm thinking, what do you mean? It just seems like everybody's doing retreats, but not every retreat leader, they're not all the same. And so really,
That's right.
really do your research beforehand and dig into that and find out reviews and talk to maybe other people maybe that have been on those. You can see those just their testimonials a lot of times.
Yes. Holly, where's your favorite place to look for a retreat? Like when you're shopping for yourself?
Oh, I mean, I love going international, and that's not always, reasonable to do. So I live in I live in Southern Utah, and I love Southern California. I love Sedona. I like warm places. I'm not a big fan of the snow. And so I will tell you though, the one I had planned that got run from COVID, that I had to cancel, which actually sparked a Retreat R&R, who is the sponsor of this show, my company. It was Ireland, and I was planning one in Ireland. So it's interesting you ask. I haven't told this story for a long time. Anyway, and COVID came and they canceled everything. But when I really was looking for a place in somewhere specific like Ireland, that's what gave me the idea to start this software company that houses booking, kind of like the Airbnb for retreats. And don't get too excited yet if you're listening, because it's in development still. Got to raise about another $1 million to complete what we want to do, but it'll be definitely the gold standard of places to go to search for retreats, and for retreat leaders to also be able to host their platforms on there and book people from that. So anyway, a lot of exciting stuff, but that's how that idea came, was from me having this great dream. And it was my first international one that I was doing. So it was a bummer. It kind of got burned. And then And then I had my own whole COVID journey and 70-day hospital stay and almost died. And that changed a lot
Oh
about what
my
I'm doing now.
goodness.
Yeah, you can go watch all that on all the NDE podcast shows and stuff. Go search it. It's out there. But just saying COVID, I wasn't alone in that. It changed things for a lot of people.
COVID was a catalyst for me too. It was a
Yeah,
big
everyone has
catalyst for
a story.
change. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I know. I kind of wonder when you said your dad died right during that. I thought, oh, that might have been why. But yeah, it was. I mean, I can't think of one thing in the history of the world that affected the world so quickly as COVID, and probably affected so quickly because we had communication through the internet and through social media that we were able to communicate with people and talk, where in the past, maybe not, but I still can't think of anything that has affected the world like that, in modern day, especially.
It was definitely something that shook us all when
Yeah.
we realized everything that we had counted on as definite was suddenly off the table. Schools, grocery stores, community. And I think for me, it really made me think, how do I want to live? And it also really highlighted the fact that I desire human connection. It is one of my biggest desires. It's one of my highest values, is to connect with other people. And so it really lit the fire under me to host more retreats, to host more in-person events. Because I took my whole business online before it was cool. It was like 2017 when I went completely remote because I was teaching school full time in the day, and then I was running my business at night and weekends.
Sure.
And I rented space for a while, but I realized I was renting space for a lot of hours I wasn't in the space. And so I thought, wouldn't it be cool if I just went online? And that was great. But then when I went full time in my business and I stopped teaching in 2022, I was very lonely. And it made me think about, oh, now I need the retreats to create that connection for myself.
Yeah. Community is really important to a lot of people. And what I love about retreats is even introverts are fulfilled because retreats do that for them. They can be around people and then they can retreat to their own space if it's set up that way. Hopefully most of people, retreat leaders, are setting up that way, I believe, where you can have your own space. That is an option a lot of times, but cost effective. I mean, you're going to pay more for that for sure. But I think I love that it caters. And the back with the online thing you were saying, think about all those creative people that took that shift during COVID, and I've seen, retreats right online. I mean, it's a little more challenging, but there's so much we can do, and just online events, and they've showed us it can be done. I mean, look how many people are working remote
Absolutely.
now because of it.
Yes.
So
I've hosted online retreats as well as in-person retreats. And
yeah.
it's really nice because my community is international. And so we have people from all over the world and in all different time zones. And the online retreat gave us a chance to come together.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that would have happened had we held just the in-person version of the retreats that I now hold. And
Yeah.
so that was a really nice way for us to grow the community and also to provide service. Not everyone can or wants to travel. And so, I saw one of my mentors, Simone Soul, do something that I'm going to model, which is she had an in-person retreat. And then after that in-person retreat, she held a virtual retreat with the same content. And that's something I'm considering trying to find a way to add into my own business.
Yeah.
Because I do think, it always comes back to me, how can I serve? What is the most resonant way that I can support my people?
Yeah.
And not everybody can travel, and not everybody wants to travel to the United States right now. And so the online retreats are going to be really important for American retreat leaders for the next little bit.
Yeah. Well, and who knows? I mean, COVID may be a test for what we could go through in the future. So I think it's always be prepared and get ready for the next step. And those people that are doing hybrid things, I think, are definitely going to benefit more for sure. I mean, they are a totally different thing, but I don't know. I feel like you can create, I would say if I was going to I have not done an online retreat. If I was going to do that, not saying I never would, I might, I would send a care box, a swag bag box, whatever.
Yes.
And that's just part of it. Put that in your class and don't make it stupid. Make it really, really cool so that it's things that they can unveil and unbox together. I mean, wouldn't that be a fun video?
Yes. And things that
you're not allowed to open your box until day one. You know what I mean? And then they have that excitement of getting a gift. And then it's stuff that you can use. Maybe there's some pom-poms that they can cheer on while they're, doing things.
Right. Or the journal, like maybe you have a branded journal or a coffee mug or a pen or something relevant, but something carefully curated.
Right. Yeah, definitely. I just think some kind of a box, which would be a little more challenging, I guess, if you brought people international. But I don't know. They're just some ideas.
Well, you might have to source it from a different place. You might have to source it, from Amazon in their country, and maybe it doesn't come in the neat little box. Or maybe somebody out there that's really creative, this is a business opportunity for you. Maybe you can create an international gift box company.
Why not? I think it's going to be the shipping's the issue. So I guess people coming international, maybe they would just have to pay the extra shipping. That could get super expensive. I don't know. We'll have to think about
another iteration of my business, I was considering adding crystals and Palo Santo and sage and different things to my business. And so I got a wholesale license through a crystal company and I began to ship them to clients. And it was great right up until I had some international clients. And then I realized that my shipping was, almost as much as the cost of the items. And so you're right that there would have to be some thought given to how that could be created. Etsy has been a really huge support for me in supporting my international clients. So if I send a journal to one of my American clients, I can get a custom designed Etsy journal for my international clients. Like, for example, I had a monogrammed leather journal sent to a client in London, and it was provided by an English designer, and that cut down on the shipping too. So there's other ways you can think about it creatively.
Yeah, it's definitely think outside the box and think of ways you can serve your people best. And I think as a retreat leader, you're going to have that intuition to know what is going to serve them best. But listening to other people and getting ideas is always great for me. I love powwowing with other retreat leaders.
Me too.
What are you doing that's working and not working? If there was one message you could leave with our listeners, what would it be?
This would be for the retreat leaders who are struggling to create the retreat. I would ask your people what they want. And sometimes we can have this idea of what a perfect retreat would be. But if it's not what our people want or need, it's going to fall flat. So talk to people, find out what they want, find out what they need. And you might be surprised at how easy it is for your retreat to come together when you're asking your people what they want.
Yeah, that's great advice. Okay, y'all heard it here. So Brenda, thank you. Thanks for sharing your heart with us today. And I hope everyone got some great tips. I know I got a little more motivated to create some more stuff. So it's all about creativity.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Appreciate you being here. All right, everyone. Till next time. We'll see you then. Bye for now. Thanks for joining us on this episode of All Things Retreat. We hope you're leaving with new ideas, fresh inspiration, and the motivation to take your retreats to the next level. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review. It helps us grow and reach more retreat leaders like you. And if you have any questions, topics you'd like us to cover, or just want to say hello, send us an email at info@weretreatrnr.com. Follow us on social media to stay connected and catch all the latest updates. Until next time, remember, great retreats start with great intentions. Let's make them extraordinary, one step at a time. Thinking about hosting a retreat? Before you dive in, let's make sure you're really ready. Grab your free Are You Retreat Ready checklist and find out if you've got everything in place from your purpose and pricing to your audience and agenda. Don't guess. Get clear. This quick checklist will show you exactly where you stand and what you need to make your retreat a success. Click the link below in the show notes to grab your gift and take the first step toward hosting with confidence.